This journey plan is a second part of East Riding of Yorkshire Council's commercialism approach. It builds on the commercialism framework, which outlines the 12 key principles the Council will follow in relation to commercialism. Unlike many Council strategies, it doesn't represent a straightforward journey from A to B. Milestones or specific targets aren't included because we can't predict the prevailing internal and external conditions. Instead, we'll respond to them in an agile way as the journey progresses, changing course if needed. We have developed a metaphor to enliven our approach. Imagine a blue sky thinking sky, under which sits our commercial activity. All this activity is represented by a dodecahedron, with its 12 edges symbolising our 12 principles. All our commercial activity must fit within these principles. Within this dodecahedron, we already have some projects, but not enough to help propel it to reach our commercial destination. This dodecahedron is at the top of a hill, primed to move but in need of a driving force, namely our new commercial team. It is a hill rather than a flat route, as we expect this agenda to rapidly gather momentum. As is evident, the dodecahedron's progress will not always be smooth, as would be the case with a sphere with no principal edges. The principles are designed to prevent it rolling out of control in search of profit at all costs. We are a public body accountable to our residents, and it may mean that sometimes there are bumps on our commercial journey, when activity which may make us considerable surplus is not considered acceptable, for example. At all times, balance will be key. It's important that the dodecahedron is not thrown off kilter by too much high-risk activity, for instance. The commercial team will get the dodecahedron moving and then ensure new projects are added to it. However, should prevailing external conditions change, we'll be ready either to anticipate or react, potentially changing course or withdrawing from some activity. While it may seem as if the dodecahedron is isolated, we very much see our commercial activity as improving the broader landscape of the local economy. This commercial journey will be conducted in 3 stages. Initially, we will seek to energise our modern workforce, creating a commercial driving force far beyond the commercial team. Secondly, we will look to do what we already do, better. And finally, or perhaps concurrently with stage 2, we will seek new commercial activity which maximises our assets, the skills of our people, our brand, our digital potential and our buildings, etc. We are absolutely committed to this agenda, so this journey is a long-haul one. It will be delivered at pace, but not at such a pace that we can't change direction if needed. Our drivers for this journey will be our new commercial team, working closely with the agile and digital teams. They will not be uber expert Formula 1 type drivers racing on an exclusive commercial track, but rather people who are conversant with the terrains of both the public sector and the commercial world, and able to successfully merge the two to create new, uncharted territory for the Council. They will do so in a way that brings others on the journey with them, in an enabling and empowering way. The first stage will be to energise the workforce. The corporate communications team is key to this, outlining the importance of this agenda and conveying the central messages of our commercial approach. But energising is about more than awareness raising, it is about enabling too. And one way of doing this is to ensure that key staff are given protected business development time to discuss ideas with the commercial team. We will not expect staff to squeeze in commercialism at the edges of their day job. The energised phase will also involve harnessing energy from outside the organisation. As reflected in the people strategy, the Council will, where appropriate, ensure that commercial experience, skills and acumen are explored during the recruitment process, ensuring we employ people already commercially skilled. We also need to awaken the energy latent in our organisation, by conducting a survey to ascertain the skills and experience that we already have that could be vitalised. Based on a gap analysis of these findings, we will, through a combination of in-house production and procurement, produce a training programme. Through this process, we will promote as commercial champions people who have shown a particular aptitude for commercialism. Working alongside colleagues, the commercial team will develop this programme, ensuring that many staff are on board the commercialism journey. In conjunction with HR, the team will also develop a commercial recognition programme to recognise and celebrate the achievements of staff who commercially excel. A skilled workforce is the bedrock that makes up the hill on which all our commercial activity rests. Fundamental to this are our frontline staff, who will be selling our services and products. As the widest part of the hill, these staff comprise the largest grouping of staff to be trained. As progress is made up the hill, fewer staff will be trained, but they will receive more strategic training. Tier 2 training will be for supervisors, staff who need to motivate their teams to be commercially successful. Tier 3 will be for staff who need to look beyond the organisation, to analyse market trends using the appropriate tools. Tier 4 will be for staff who are likely to produce or scrutinise business cases and show an understanding of risk. And Tier 5 will be for leaders who are reviewing complex proposals. These are tiers, not organisational layers, as they will be dependent upon skills and experience rather than position in the hierarchy. The next stage of the journey is to optimise what we already do. Do we know exactly how much all our commercial activity costs, and how much of a profit we are making on it when all costs have been taken into account? Are all our service level agreements as robust as they could be? The commercial team will work with our finance service to develop profit and loss accounting. They will then work with specific commercial services to establish a baseline cost profile before considering ways greater turnover can be achieved through pricing strategies that focus on consumer demand and competition analysis rather than on inflationary price increases, for example. Staff will be supported to develop strategies to cross-sell products and services at both an operational and strategic level. The single view of the customer to be provided by Granicus will aid this. We may also look to offer different services as part of a package proposition. Stage 3 is about maximising our assets. But to do so in a way that stays true to our principles, a governance framework will be required. A building block of this is template documents, such as for business cases, for each stage of the journey. While not curtailing creativity, templates must be consistent enough to ensure comparisons between projects and enable robust analysis to be undertaken. To ensure that our principles act as the sat-nav for our journey plan rather than be abstract concepts, a commercialometer was devised as part of the framework. The profile of this has been agreed by senior leaders to ensure an overall strategic direction for the Council's commercial activity. Following our principle of appropriate oversight and accountability, not all commercial activity will need to follow the same governance process. Governance should not function as speed bumps to slow down progress, but rather as signposts to ensure the right direction of travel. A service will develop a standard initial idea template, which will then be discussed by a panel of experts. If given the amber light to prepare to proceed, the service and the commercial team will develop a full business case. This will then be fired off for consideration to the relevant departments, for example IT or HR, simultaneously for checking, before the full business case is scrutinised by senior leaders and given the green light to go ahead. We use the term go ahead rather than approval to demonstrate that this process is designed to build momentum, not stall it, and that once the go ahead is given, the commercial activity should get out of the starting blocks quickly. As mentioned previously, services are not on this journey alone. Key to maximising our assets successfully will be the commercial team, who may also be asked to develop new cross-directorate projects, such as a commercial events programme. The commercial team will need to map out new commercial routes for services from initial idea to full business case, through researching the market, possible supply chains, pricing models, etc. They may also be required to support the setup of a project when it has been given the green light. So the mode of travel towards our destination was outlined in the framework, and now 3 key stages of the journey, energise, optimise and maximise, have been described in this journey plan. The detailed itinerary will be developed by the commercial team, the drivers on our journey to being a more commercially focused and resilient council, investing our resources responsibly in commercial opportunities to generate surpluses that will be reinvested to support the council's corporate priorities.